Hello, 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 my friends. How are you today? Welcome, 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 welcome. I so appreciate you. Um, Whether you're with me live or after live, after death, the death of the live stream. It's all good. Love and lights, Ashe, welcome all. Black Light series. This is the last week. I'm Dr. Minister, excuse me, I'm Minister Dr. Akila Ka Ma'at. That's what happens when you're running in here to sit in your seat when the live stream is beginning, my friends. You know? So Minister Dr. Akila Ka Ma'at here with the last week of the Black Light series. And welcome all, welcome all. I do not monitor the chat right now. Um, or comments as I'm doing these streams. Today is usually a live practice. I found that um, it's interesting on YouTube. So I'm being directed to teach the practice as opposed to do it live. I honor my ancestors for what they direct me toward, and I obey. Okay. Um, And so today is Dark Awake Routine plus Mother Tongue Release, your complete morning ritual. Actually, this can be done any time of the day, anywhere, if only for a moment, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Um, if you need it, you do it, right? It's that cosmic resonance that's important to guide us. Because when we're aligned with the reality of who we are, with the power of Kim, and Kim, if you were with me yesterday, you know that that is the ancient African word for melanin. And I will just say it one more time. The term melanin comes from Greek, it's Greek etymology, and mela means black. It also means dirty, okay? Um, and N, of course, and melanin is biology. When the ancient African civilizations used Kim, they were not denoting dirty. They were denoting all in resonance, the universe, backward in time, forward in time, present, all together within a field of nodes that we all are and energetically connected. Some call it quantum entanglement. It's also Ubuntu, which is I am because we are. Kim holds the promise and the power of that connectivity, my friends. Okay, so, this is what I'm calling the capstone of the meditation. Uh, I took the live from yesterday, trimmed it down, and actually put it up in the videos. So it's up there. You can see it. It's shortened. Um, and it'll be helpful. That was a capstone for Tuesday. This is the capstone for our practice on Wednesday. And so, good evening. Welcome to the capstone. All right. And as you know, I have my new setup. I didn't like looking at the script that I write out on the screen. I just could not keep that interpersonal connection with the audience. That is important to me. I can't read and look at that and not look at you, because really the most important person in this room, in this space, is you. You are. the most important person in this room. And I thank you for taking time out of your day, giving your effort to come here and to sit in this meditation. Okay. I don't know where my mouse is here. I always got something going on, you know? Always, always. Now I'm having a glitch. So I'm just going to leave Love and Lights, Welcome All, Black Light series, because if the guides want that to stay on the screen, hence the reason why my mouse is not going back up into my other screen, then so be it. I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. Um, it is what it is. And as I always tell everyone who sits in anything that is related to my work and what I'm trying to provide as a service, there is no wrong. There is no failure. There's only lessons, and there is only what it is what it is. And you just keep on stepping. So, before anything else, before I get into anything else, my friends, housekeeping. I need you to subscribe. You know, the Black Light series has been a success, um, particularly in TikTok. And I think the algorithms on YouTube have not caught up to this particular spiritual awakening message, right? Maybe I'm not using the correct tags, hashtags, and that's okay. There's a learning curve, but you can help me, just like I'm helping you. Hit subscribe so I can get in the algorithm, my friends. And also hit the notifications so you know when these videos are dropping. And also like. That also helps the algorithms. Subscribe, hit notifications, and like. Thank you. And if you are here for the capstone, why don't you write in the chat? Let me know you're here. Mornings belong to me. My mornings belong to me. Or just write mornings so that I know that you're here. Yeah? I can open the chat up to see if anybody stopped in. So I'm just pulling up the chat. I'm in restraint. Okay. So if you were here yesterday, okay, on Power Profit TV, you sat in that live stream or looked at the live stream from yesterday at 2:30, okay, you received the architecture, right? The radiance path. I provided 3 pillars, 5 practices, and the whole circuit, right? And you heard me say that the assignment begins tomorrow morning, where I just ask, and if it was possible, I hope you participated in the 5 minutes on your own in the dark before the world claims you. And so tonight is different from every other session in this series, okay? And I want to set that expectation clearly, like right now. Tonight is not a meditation. As usual, as I said, um, as I build my tribe, the meditations will become more critical, and that tribe for meditations will be in a separate platform. Um, so tonight is not a meditation. I'm not going to hold your hand through a 40-minute journey, which of course I love to do that. Tonight is a teaching, okay? An instruction manual for the 2 practices at the heart of the radiance path, the dark awake routine and the mother tongue. And as I've mentioned yesterday in the live stream, there is in the link in bio a radiance path guide that helps you um, find some sort of space to do this work, reflection questions, 21-day calendar, just all sorts of good information. And as I've mentioned before, once this week is over, all the guides are going away. As you see, there's no more guides in that link in bio. They will become purchasable on Amazon. They're no longer for free. Okay. And so, you know, um, these practices at the heart of the residence radiance path, the darker rate routine, and the mother tongue, you know, a guided practice is beautiful, but it makes you dependent on the guide. Okay. And the whole point of this series, my friends, the whole point of the power of release is that you leave here sovereign. Okay. Tomorrow at dawn, I will not be in your bedroom. And I'm sure you'll be happy about that. It will be you, the dark, and your lineage. So tonight, I teach you to run it yourself. So I'm not giving you an experience tonight, I'm giving you the keys, my friends. So I ask that if you get the Radiance Path guide is in the link in bio. It is a flip book. You can download it as a PDF, print it out, or if you know how to use the technology where you can write into the guide these notes, do so. If you don't, get a journal and a pen. You're going to want to write tonight. Okay, there are steps and there is troubleshooting, and you will want the checklist. Okay, so if you can dim your lights, even though we're not doing a guided practice, we can still set the scene, a meditative scene. Dim the lights, do it now. We will use the darkness twice tonight, briefly. But first, before I teach, I want to hear from you. All right. So, in one sentence, I'm going to put this in the chat. So, in one sentence, what changed in you across the series? Not what you learned, what changed? Please put it in the chat. I will harvest these answers later and share them. All right. You can write one word, you can write a sentence. And it's important too to help grow the content as far as helping it to be more relevant, more useful to users. If I hear where you're at, then that helps me understand where perhaps other people are at. All right. So we're going to start with the dark awake routine, a full teaching on that. The dark awake routine has been named in every session in this series. Okay, and tonight you will finally get all of it. I'm going to teach it in 6 parts. Okay, when, where, and how you sit, how you breathe, and what you attend to, and how you close. Then the troubleshooting, because I know exactly what is going on, what is going to go wrong in your first week. I do know. And I would rather hear it. I would rather you hear it from me tonight than quit tomorrow. So part 1, when? And that is pre-dawn. That is before there is any light in the sky. Okay? Before the light, before the foam, before your household wakes. The practice is called dark awake because both words matter. You are in the dark and you are awake on purpose ahead of the world. Why pre-dawn? 2 reasons. Okay. First reason, is a practical one. All right. It is the only hour the world has now already claimed. All right. Whatever your schedule for 2 p.m., the day will eat. Right. The hour before dawn and you lighten the sky belongs to you, stillness and darkness to receive. Okay, ordinary waking consciousness is so saturated with noise that the cellular signal cannot penetrate it. All right, pre dawn, the noise floor of the whole world is at its lowest. That is when the receiver works best. You with me? All right, now. If pre dawn is truly impossible for you, and for some people that really is, you work nights, you have a newborn, then your rule is dark and before your day begins, dark before you fall asleep. Whenever your day begins, get ahead of it in the dark, and as you lay down in all exhaustion, find time. And sometimes you will drift off to sleep, and that's okay. Because there is science to prove that whatever you're doing before you fall asleep goes into your long term memory, impacts you on a very real level. So there is an importance to doing it before night. I mean, before you fall asleep, whether you fall asleep during it or not. Okay? So, where? All right? The darkest room you have. I have a dark closet. I can sit in it, the dark awake in a closet. There's not a peep of light. So you want to keep your eyes open, you do that. You don't want to go in a closet and feel claustrophobic, then you close your eyes. Okay? And there's no candles, there's no app, there's no soundtrack, my friends. No screen anywhere in reach. And I mean the phone stays outside the room or away from you or face down in silence somewhere else. All right? The phone is the world's claim ticket on you. It wants your attention. This hour, the claim is void. So, how you sit? Comfortable, upright if possible, a chair with your feet flat on the floor or cross legged on a cushion or the edge of your bed. If you cannot get in those positions, then there's no problem laying down. And don't worry, no matter what, it will work, whether you're sitting up or laying down. But sitting up is is the position in which I teach. Again, all of them, all positions are valid. But upright matters. Now, this is awake in the dark awake. So the upright position, if you can, even if you put pillows behind your backs, behind your back, right? If you can't like sit up and need some help, put them behind your back, right? And so this is awake in the dark awake. You're not trying to fall back asleep, okay? Although that will happen, and that's fine. Just keep going, and you'll get more time and more time and more time between falling asleep. The spine is tall, but it is not rigid. Okay? Hands are open on your thighs, palms up to receive. Yes, open, because you know the open hand is not a metaphor tonight. It is your actual posture to receive. Eyes open or closed, just as long. If they're open, it is dark. Okay? Closed, this whole thing is to unfold into Kim. and I got to put melanin with it because that's how many people know it, is to unfold and become one with Kim. Very, very important. Excuse me. Many people keep them softly open in the dark. Excuse me. The dark is what you need to see. Okay? And that is the point. You are practicing being in Kim, not escaping it, my friends. How do you breathe? Simple. In through the nose, out through the mouth, slower. The exhale is longer than the inhale. That is the only rule. The long exhale is a physiological signal to your nervous system that the emergency is over. And for many of us, the nervous system has been in emergency posture for decades. And and what I teach my clients, I'm going to give you this tidbit, and it's part of like the death meditation. When you have transitioned, you have no, your nervous system is not active. And so on the exhale, you blow it all out and you hold. Because when you pass, all of that air comes out. And so what you're doing with the death meditation or the breathing, and I don't mean you're going to die, is that you are putting yourself in an ultra relaxed modality. Okay, and as I said, this is what I teach to more advanced clients. So don't worry about that right now. Just a slow breathe out, and hopefully it's not in your chest, that it is in your diaphragm. My chest isn't moved because I'm not breathing here. I'm breathing from my lower abdomen. The diaphragm cuts it in half. It's a large muscle. And in my sessions, I teach how to breathe from there. Okay? And so, you take 3 or 4 breaths in, and then after you do, inhale, exhale. If you want to hold, you hold it. I usually try to give it a count for beginners. If you're going to hold it on the bottom, if you can, to 10, 15. Inhale again. Out. Hold for 15, 10, 5. Inhale again. Exhale. Up or out. You count in your head. And then you let it go. And you're going to want to inhale immediately. So then you start breathing naturally after those. You can do 3 or 4 breaths. All right. Do not manage it for 5 minutes, although you can, but starting out, do not manage it for 5 minutes. This is not necessarily a complete breathing exercise, but this breathing work is helpful to fully relax you and to connect with your pineal gland, open you up so that your chakra, your third eye, all this is open to the cosmos. All right. So that's what we're trying to do. Tap into that other knowing, relax the body. Okay. And so the breath opens the door. That's what that's all about, opening the door. So what do you attend to? And this is the heart of the Dark Awake routine. You are not emptying your mind, okay? Hear me, this is not that. You are not achieving a state, okay? You are doing something much simpler and much more radical. You are becoming available, okay? You bring your attention to the Kim Your awareness is on the dark. Okay? Your awareness is on the dark. And as part of this awareness, this is where your body meets the dark. Okay? And as I mentioned in episode 1 2 weeks ago, we established that your melanin is a biochemical receiver, my friends, an organic superconductor, a cosmic instrument. Right now, in the dark, that instrument is in its native element, encased in darkness. Okay? The darkness is not the absence of your power, it is the origin of it. The womb is dark, the soil is dark, the cosmos is dark. Kemet named itself the Black Land. So you bring your attention to the dark and you acknowledge the Kim in which you are encased. There's an intent. Okay, you want to not focus or concentrate, but just awareness on your state of Kim. Okay, and so you sit skin awake. All this is awake. Pineal gland produces the melanin. Melanin, look, it's all there, right? You sit awake. You sit skin awake. All right, and you hold one silent posture toward whatever arrives. Okay? I'm available. That's the posture. Not I'm waiting for something to happen. That's not it. Okay? You are merely available. Okay? Availability has no agenda and it has no pressure. All right? Thoughts will come. And as I've talked before, you submerge under the ocean. You don't grab the thought and start thinking about it. You let it pass over like the currents on the ocean. Okay? And so sensations come, just notice them. Okay? And some mornings, not every morning or in the evening or whenever you're doing this, something else will come. A clarity, an arrival of knowing. You were not sinking, okay? That is the signal. You don't chase it. What just happened? What just happened? You don't chase it. You just keep still and being available, all right? And this is not meditation. It is a tuning, okay? You are not emptying yourself. As I said, you are becoming available, my friends. So how do you close? All right. And I have to say, when things are making themselves aware to you, you're not going to, try to chase that. You sense that. And people are like, what do I do with that? Put it in your journal. What happened? That's it. Put it in your journal. Write it down. Every time you do this, write down what has come to you. Awake in the dark, awake. Okay? And so, how do you close? The calling of names, my friend. And you can set a timer too. If you're doing 5 minutes, the last minute, call the names. I've talked about calling names in the 5 practices. It may be down now because a lot of this stuff is going into curriculum and being monetized, unfortunately. I have to make a living. I know you understand that. And I thank you for being so understanding. Okay? But you want to call names out loud in the dark. These are your ancestors, okay? They can be still living, but definitely passed on, right? This is for men and women and everybody else who identifies whatever way they want to. You call who you need to. So I'm going to use these as examples, but you pick your own, right? Your grandmother, her mother, aunts, great aunts, cousins. You go as far back as you can. And if you got two people, that's fine, right? It's okay. There's no pressure here, my friends. Calling name is stirring the ancestral memory and lineage and connection with guidance. Okay. And so when the names run out, when you're thinking about the middle passage, this meditation is for those who have ancestry in slavery in America or anywhere where whiteness enslaved. Okay? Don't stop. You say, to those who carried this before I had language for it, to those whose names were taken before I could learn them, I know you are there. I am listening. You're going to have to rewind this to get that, right? This video. I'm going to say it one more time. When you can no longer speak the names, right? Say, to those who carried this before I had language for it, to those whose names were taken before I can learn them, I know you are there. I know you are here. I am listening. And when I say whose names were taken, as you know, in chattel slavery, they made our ancestors take different names, throw away their natural given names and take on the name of whiteness. Okay? And then open the lights or the door into your day, put on some music, maybe bust a move. This is the routine. 5 minutes to start. It will grow on its own. Please do not force it, my friends. Okay? Now, the troubleshooting. Write these down if you can. Troubleshoot one. You fall asleep. This is why you sit upright, ideally. If you're still not off, you're not feeling, as I said, you're exhausted or you're extremely relaxed for the first time in a long time. All right. And your body is telling you something the practice has just revealed. Maybe go to bed earlier if you can. The practice starts the night before. I don't know why I wrote that, but that's okay. Go to bed earlier. But as I'm thinking about my work with my clients, going to bed earlier works, but if you're exhausted and you're tired, just exhausted and you're tired, it's not from sleep. It's just life exhaustion, right? And so don't worry about falling asleep, because over time you will not sleep, because you will be so caught in the space of renewal and connection that the sleep will no longer happen. So do not worry. Do not be concerned. Troubleshoot too. Your mind will not stop. And you know what? Many times it doesn't, right? And it won't ever, probably, right? Um, you know, as I mentioned, you're not doing it wrong. You just don't grab the thoughts and start thinking about them, right? You don't notice something and then you focus on it, start thinking about it. When you start to think or grab a thought and start thinking it out, you'll be mindful to let that thinking go. And I've talked about this in past live streams. Okay, a busy mind in the dark is still a body in the dark, and the receiver works anyway. Sometimes you'll just keep thinking. Believe me, I've been there in beginning practice. Um, and like I say, all of it's okay. You give it time, you be disciplined to do it, and you will see things will shift in a way that support your openness without slumber. All right. Troubleshoot three. For many, the dark itself is uncomfortable. All right. Even when we go to sleep, we don't even look at the Kim, the blackness behind our lids. It's just like, okay, it's like it's just there. And that's such a waste of the cosmos, because that's what it is. It is the cosmos, my friends. And so for some of us, darkness got wired to fear a long time ago. And for those of us who have trauma, okay? So if that is you, honor that. Look, keep the door cracked. Start with 2, 3 minutes. The practice will reteach your body what our tradition has always known. Kim is where you came from, and it was never your enemy. Troubleshoot four. You miss a morning, and you look, it's okay. All right. And because you will. All right. Do not restart your count as punishment, and do not spiral. Right. Sit that evening instead, or just pick up the next day. This is a relationship. It's not a performance review. Do not give yourself any pressure, or this will become a severe challenge for you. Okay? You'll be fine. Don't start doing survival coping strategies for meditation. No, they're not necessary. All right? Now, lights down if you can. We are going to taste it. Well, actually, we're not. I already decided this is a teaching. Okay? Um, and I think there are a couple of meditation videos up on Power Profit TV that you can engage to practice. Okay. Now, the second practice, the mother tongue teaching and first sound. Yesterday, I did speak in tongues. I talked a lot about tongues and the embarrassment, and perhaps and how to allow that to begin to emerge from you. So, and I need to teach this one carefully because it is the most likely one to be understood due to all of the stereotypes, and it's the devil and all that stuff is to diminish the full capacity of who you are and your connection with all. And when I say all, I mean all. Okay? We are innately connected with all. And it is that now we have no problem. We have no problem with the Buddha chants, whatever they are. Tina Turner did them in that movie. We have no problem with that. But when it comes to the mother tongue, speaking in tongues, there seems to be a problem. And that is the most natural form, particularly for Kim individuals, melanated peoples, Black peoples. It is a natural chant. We're not Indian, we're not Hindu, right? We are African, whether you know where you're from in Africa or not. But yet we speak these foreign things out of our mouth and discount something that is so uniquely ours. And it has the same power as those things, but it is our spiritual core. Yeah. And so, while it is the one that is most likely understood, it is the one that might change your life the fastest. Yes, the mother tongue. And here is the problem it solves, right? Everything you expressed, every word, all day long, passes through a review board on the way out. Even your even your Buddha, your Hindu chants, your Buddhism chants. I gotta get it right. I gotta get. Am I doing right? That's an internal review process. And then it gets an external review process by the person you're learning it from or somebody who's helping you. Oh, that's not right. That's not right. I call it the committee review. The committee checks everything against the old question. Is this acceptable? Okay. Is this professional? Is this too much? Does it sound right? Will this make the room uncomfortable? You installed that committee inside yourself for survival, right? In episode 2 of last week on Tuesday, it told you that story, but the committee does not just filter what you say to the world, it filters what you say to the cosmos. It stands between your center and your voice. The mother tongue is a sound beneath the committee, and it is your own. It is yours. Primal, vibrational sound that carries no words because words are the committee's jurisdiction, right? The hum, the moan, the tone, the sound, the language. The language. And there's even singing. But it all is coming from the same place that these alms and this Yungu Changshai Hum. I'm sorry, I'm not making a joke. I just don't know the chants. They're all coming from that core, but it is yours. And it vibrates on the frequency that you need to connect with all. And it's a sound you did not plan and could not spell. It is your mother tongue because it is your first language. And in many ways, it's like a baby being born. Blah, 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 da, 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 ma, 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 ma. Come on now. It's your first language as a baby and your first language as an ancient. Yes. Ancient African civilization first language. Why we got to do all that other stuff? Why we got to go to some other culture to find our spirituality? Why? Why? We're so conditioned when we have everything that we need to survive in a prosperous, phenomenal, life-bending way. It could be bent up, down, up. I'm not making a comment about down, but a life bending, like airbender, that movie where this person can manipulate, I think, the elements and stuff. Yes, that's you. That is you. That's you. That is you, my friends. And so the mother tongue is your first language, the one you spoke before anyone taught you which sounds were acceptable. Every infant on the planet speaks it fluently. The adults that have had this download speak it fluently. They may have forgotten that language, but it can be captured in silence in a download. It is possible. The Power Prophet has strategies that I may not get all into in this particular teaching, but there are strategies. Okay, the mother tongue is your voice before the committee was seated to tell you, you got to learn English. It's like the Tower of Babylon. You know, everybody was working together to build this tower to God, right? And then God smited them because he was so mad because they were trying to be more than him or reach him. Some weird Bible stuff. And then he sent them to all corners of the world or gave them all different languages so they couldn't work together. I mean, that is just so horrific. But before he smited them with diverse languages that they could not communicate and work together, there was one mother tongue. Yes, I have a great deal of history in the church. Okay. So why sound? You know, every all these other spiritual traditions use sound, the and the chants and all this stuff. It's very important because you are a vibrational instrument. Well, first, I mean, a being. You are a wind instrument, right? Wind instruments operate on vibrations. I mean, most instruments do, but a wind instrument, we don't even realize that we are a wind instrument. Okay. And so being a vibrational being, you know, that is not poetry, that is physics, my friend. Okay. Everything in you oscillates. And Kim, melanin, your superconductor, okay, is a resonance instrument. Sound moves through you differently than thought does. All right. Thought can be interrupted by the judgment committee, right? Vibration cannot. When you sound from your center, my friends, you are communicating below the checkpoint of others' issues, right? From your body directly to the field. Remember that field of entanglement, right? This is, and that field is massive. I mean, it's the cosmos. It's all okay. And this is the science of every tongue, right? That ever escaped in a Black church and in other churches, right? There are some Black churches don't like speaking in tongues, but there are several churches that encourage that, right? Ever escaped from a house of worship before the words caught up? You know, your grandmothers, many of them knew this practice. They just never, ever wrote it down. And so I'm going to give you some 4 general steps that may help you move in the direction of rediscovering, reclaiming your mother tongue. Okay. So 4 steps, write them down if you can. 1, you can do this inside the darker weight routine. You can do it in the shower. You can do it anywhere that you feel comfortable. Okay. But it works best when you it has more of a propensity to emerge in the dark. Okay, so dark, alone, private, you know, um, that's a good place to start. Or being in the shower. I began seeking to discover my tongue in the shower where nobody heard me. Right? It's kind of like when you sing in the shower, people can't hear you, right? And so, step two, begin with the breath you already know, right? A long exhale, shh, or one of those exhales, let a hum, right? And it's not a note that you choose. Just close the lips and let the breath vibrate on the way out. Mm. We're not doing om. We're doing mm. That is the doorway. Step three, let the hum wonder. Do not give it a melody. A melody is the committee telling you what to do um, to make it acceptable. All right. What is that? What does it mean? Was that right? You know, excuse me. I'm on to step four. Um, so let the pitch drift where it wants, right? Let it get louder or lower, rougher. If it wants to open to a ah, open. Ha, ha, ha. Okay. Um, if it wants to break, let it break. And I'm gonna tell you, when you are sitting in it, um, if it brings tears to you to your eyes, that will happen. Just keep sounding. Ha, ha. I know. Look, you're like, what the heck is Kyla doing? Ha, ha, make different sounds with the make different sounds with the ha. Make the sounds. That's why you do it alone. That's why you do it in the shower. That's why you do it somewhere nobody can hear you, or you do it in a church or a house of worship where nobody cares because everybody's making sounds. Just keep doing it. If you want to use your tongue, sometimes that might happen. You don't force it. You let your mouth do what let your body do whatever it wants to do. And when this is in a workshop, it's much more easier to do this because all the clients are there for that reason. So no one stands out. And it doesn't happen for everybody all at one time, although there have been small groups where that has happened, and a that is a phenomenal event for the individuals. And for me, as a guide, it'll happen a little, or you're in the workshop and when you go home, it may happen or it may not. You just keep doing the practice. Anything worth having is worth the work. And that's a choice you're going to have to make in attending to your ascension, right? And so, step four, and this is the entire discipline of practice, do not translate. You're not even going to know what you're saying because the whole thing is you're speaking in such a way, you're sounding in such a way that this language is accessible to all. It's not necessarily for you, it's to connect. And what it does is it connects to such a resonance that it's brought back to you. It is healing. It inspires. It brings smiles. It brings tears. You don't know why this is happening. It's happening because you need whatever is going on. Okay? And so, like I said, people want to demand meeting. What is that? What does it mean? Was that right? Do not answer to anybody. If they're listening to you, it's none of their business. It's your own private tongue. The mother tongue is your tongue. You don't have to explain it to anybody because it's used in a divine, resonant way. I know I got a little loud on that part because it has been castigated maybe longer, I don't know, forever, particularly with the church, the Enlightenment, and all this stuff, and how that moved into America. People who spoke in tongues were considered demons and witches. So, fully on that. It's only put in that framing because the ones that are boxing it up understand the power it wields. And so there's nothing here you got to get right, right? The sound is not for like a straight interpretation, it is for release and reach. What the mother tongue is not is three things, okay? It's not performance. And some people, you don't know whether they're speaking in tongues or not, but it sounds, it is perceived. You get a download that it's perhaps a performance. You know, there's nobody there like a person to hear you perform tongues. It has no audience, not in corporal form, right? Um, I say that, and at the same time, it is a vibratory healing tool that is spoken over people, has power. You get to that as you ascend. You feel comfortable. It's like the laying on of hands. You lay your hands and you speak your tongue over the person that is power. I used to raise my child up from illness or sadness, worry, discomfort through the laying on of hands and speaking of tongues. I've done that with many, many people over my life. Mother tongue is a powerful healing elixir for others. But you have to get to a point where you're not worried about how you sound because you're not there for performance, you're there to heal. And that is a technology of healing, not just you, but others. Okay? So there's no language, you don't have to memorize anything, right? What is strange, what is truly unnatural is an adult who has not made an unplanned sound in 30 years, right? Um, they're like, what? So, I've already given you a demonstration of speaking in tongues, right? So, your complete morning ritual. Now, watch how it all assembles into one ritual. That can always be separate rituals, right? But you put them all together for an extended session or in your session. This is what you will run tomorrow morning, if possible, ideally, and for the next 21 mornings, 7 steps. Excuse me, write them as a checklist. Okay. So, one, the night before, journal and pen behind the bed, phone chargers outside the room or across it. Two, on waking, if a dream remains, write it down first. Um, I like to use my phone, although I'm saying put the phone down. But it's sometimes hard to pull out a journal and get the pen. The phone can be accessible. Maybe it's face down. You pick it up. You send a text message to yourself, right? I find that to be a really quick way to get details and to get the dream out, right? But if you're adverse to that, you get your pencil and your pen, right? And so on waking, if some of the dream remains, like I said, you write it first um, in your phone, and then put your phone down, move it away, right? And you're not speaking. There's no talking when you wake up before before you do the dark awake. There's no conversation, right? Three, you sit in the dark. Remember, upright, hands up, palms up, and then you do 4 to 3. Four is do 3 to 4 long exhales, and if you can, shh, hold it at the bottom. Count for 10. Inhale. Do it again. Hold at the bottom. Right. Then let the breath go natural when you finish those 3, 4 breath cycles. 5. Bring your attention to Kim, to the darkness, the behind your eyes, in the room, um, and definitely with an intent of of your skin being awake. You are an antenna. You're not concentrating your skin, but you're putting the intent out there that my skin is also and is the antenna, right? Sorry, excuse me. I just have these allergies here happening today. And become available, right? You can bring your awareness to your skin. As you sit in Kim, right? So it's an awareness. You're not concentrated on it. There's an intention. And you can state the intention. My skin is a receiver because you have many, right? And sit that there. Okay. Um, and then you hold this meditative position for 5 minutes, right? 3 minutes. Let your thoughts pass over like the currents on top of the ocean. You don't grab the thoughts and start thinking about them. And 6, when it arises, and only when arises, let the sound come. The the ah, right? The mother tongue. Some mornings you won't feel it. Don't force it. Don't manufacture it. Natural. The best way for my clients is to do this in workshop format. There's power and synergy and entanglement with everyone sitting in the same awareness of mother tongue. Okay. And 7, close with names, right? Your grandmother, your mother, your aunties, your great aunts, your grandfather. Men can use the men. Women speak the names of women. Really, this is your meditation. And you use the names that are powerful for you. All right. And if you hit a wall, go past the wall. I know you're there. I am listening. All right. Then rise and enter your day tuned. You are an instrument, remember? Dream, dark, breath, skin, sound, names, day. 7 steps. And the first one happens tonight, my friends. The full ritual with the 21 morning tracker and every practice from the series is in the Radiance Path Guide, which is in um, the link in bio. And it is free right now. Download it. It's a flip book. You can download it as a PDF and put tomorrow's date on it. Okay. All right. So if you're here and you just sat through all that, say mother tongue. Put it in the chat or the comments. Mother tongue. Let me know you're here. All right. And if you're still here, subscribe, like, hit notifications. It helps these messages get to a broader audience. All right. And so we close the way we open every morning from now on with a declaration. Okay. Um, the declaration is my mornings belong to me. My voice is older then the committee of judgment, which is all those out there, the Kim, KEM, you can say dark, was never my enemy. I am the black light. Okay? So I'm going to put this in the chat so that it's there, your declaration for yourself. All right, there it is. And so your assignment, as I said, get that Radiance Path Guide, the Darker Weight Routine, 21 consecutive mornings, starting tomorrow morning. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. right here on Power Profit TV is the final teaching for this particular series. Stop lifting, start orchestrating. Bring someone with you who needs to sit in this and stay connected to this community. If you felt something, you felt it. That's fantastic. All right. This is a field. We're all nodes in this field connected. This is a community. And this community is Ubuntu in action. I am because we are. My name is Minister Dr. Akila Ka Ma'at. Okay. Tomorrow, before the light, I will be in my own Kim, right? And you will be in yours. And we will not be alone. Thank you so much for sitting with me. I really appreciate you and your time. Ashe, my friends. If you have any questions, my email's in the description for this channel. All right, and you can contact me anytime, and I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. All right, now if I can get my mouse out of here, there we go. Chabella.